Here is a realistic bird drawing. Let's go through the complete process from the outline to final detailing. Now I begin shading the beak. I start with a light base layer and gradually build darker tones to define its form. The beak has a smooth surface, so I use controlled stroke and gentle layering to maintain clean transition. I keep the top slightly darker and preserve subtle highlight to show light reflection, which help create a realistic solid structure. The eye is where the drawing come to life. I deepen the pupil, refine the surrounding tones, and preserve a small highlight to create a natural reflection and a sense of realism. Now I move on to shading the feathers, which is one of the most time consuming part of this drawing. This stage requires a lot of patience and careful observation. Instead of rushing, I work slowly, building each feathers layer by layer. Realistic texture cannot be achieved in a single step. It develops gradually through controlled stroke and repeated layering. I use fine directional stroke that follow a natural flow of feathers. This helps create a soft and organic texture rather than a flat surface. Each stroke is placed with intention, keeping in mind the structure and movement of the feathers. Understanding light and shadow is very important here. I carefully observe where the light hits and where the shadow forms. The lighter areas are left soft, while the darker regions are gradually deepened to create contrast and depth. This contrast between light and shadow gives the feathers a three-dimensional appearance and makes them look more realistic. Patience play a key role in this process. Taking time to refine each layers and adjust small detail is what transforms simple stroke into lifelike texture. By repeating this process across all feathers and maintaining consistency, I slowly build a natural and realistic look throughout the drawing. Feathers are not all the same. They vary in texture, shape, and appearance across different parts of the bird. The feathers on the body are softer and more compact, so I used shorter, lighter stroke to create a smooth and subtle texture. In contrast, the wing feathers are more structured and layered. Here I use longer, more defined stroke to show their direction and separation clearly. Tail feathers are usually sharper and more elonged, so I focused on clean edges and stronger contrast to bring out their form. Understanding these differences is very important for realism. By adjusting the stroke style, pressure, and shading technique for each type of feather, I can create a more natural result. For legs, I use short, controlled stroke to create a rough texture. I build the tone gradually and use light and shadow to define the structure and depth. Next, I work on the tree branch. Unlike the soft feathers, the branch has a rough and uneven texture, so I change my approach here. I begin with a light base layer and gradually build darker tones to define its form. Using irregular and broken stroke, I create a natural texture of the wood. I avoid smooth blending and instead keeping the stroke slightly rough to represent the surface detail. By adding darker tones in the crack and lighter areas on the raised part, I create depth and realistic wood texture. This contrast between rough texture and soft shading help me the drawing more dynamic and natural. Thank you for watching this complete drawing process. If you found this helpful, please like, share and subscribe to Eye of Art for more realistic pencil drawing tutorial. See you in the next artwork.